Turn around.
Turn around.
Tase him.
It's Sunday, 8:30 p.m. at the Tulsa County Courthouse. The building is closed and appears to be empty. Empty except for 42-year-old Larry Teague. He's just smashed his way through the front door. As you can see by the broken glass and blood on Teague's hand. So what does this alleged intruder do now that he's inside the building? He calls the police to report a crime.
911, police, fire, medical.
Against himself.
Yeah, is this really 911? I'm down here at the courthouse.
Teague claims he broke into the court to get away from people chasing him.
I broke into the...
Hold on one moment.
911, do you need police, fire, medical?
This is a joke, ain't it? I need police, man.
How can I help you?
This can't be the police, man.
Okay, where are you at?
At the courthouse,
Okay.
across from the library.
And what's your name?
Larry Teague, man. Larry Sean Teague.
Okay. And what's going on exactly there? Hello? Larry?
The dispatcher sends a few officers down to the courthouse to assess the situation. When they arrive,
Hey, watch these cars. How we gonna clear this frickin' building? We might want to start some help. Cover.
There he is. He's on the bench. He's just sitting there.
the only person they find is Teague. Officers notice the wound on Teague's hand and attempt to calm him down.
Relax. Relax.
But Teague doesn't seem to trust the officers.
No, I'm not gonna do this, dude. Y'all taking me somewhere.
Go down to your knees.
That's what y'all want, ain't it?
Hey, brother. Okay, just go 63.
No, dude, y'all trying to get me in a police car, dude. So y'all can take me somewhere.
Hey, we're gonna help you.
I'm not stupid, man.
So we need to listen to what we say.
After several failed attempts,
Hey, turn around.
No, dude.
the officers are finally losing patience.
Turn around.
Tase him.
Last chance.
Turn around.
It seems negotiating is no longer an option, as the officer gives Teague one last chance to comply.
Tase him.
Last chance.
Turn around.
Teague is tased and immediately hits the ground. He's taken to the station and charged with second-degree burglary, malicious injury to property, and resisting arrest. He was held in lieu of a $10,000 bond.
All right, let's take him outside. All right. I mean,
Roll on your stomach.
roll over.
But ultimately, the state failed to file charges, which essentially means the charges were dropped. First up, we go to Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're inside the Hamilton County Courthouse, and that's Donald Trivett. He just entered the building, but he has no court business to attend to. So why is he there? He wants access to an office, so he can take a shower. When told he doesn't have an office there, Trivett doesn't take the news well. Three deputies try to restrain Trivett, who sends one of them to the floor. Finally, he's taken down, and deputies appear to have things under control. But look closely. You can see Trivett reaching for the deputy's holster. If he grabs the gun, this scuffle could turn deadly. But there. A quick-thinking bailiff releases the magazine from the weapon. Even against three men, Trivett continues to fight. By now, a dozen officers have arrived on the scene. As a precaution to prevent officers from being bitten, a hood is placed over Trivett's head, and he's taken away in handcuffs. Trivett's charged with aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, and resisting arrest. No officers were seriously injured during the incident. Next, we're in Chelsea, Massachusetts for an arraignment hearing. The defendant in the holding cell is 46-year-old Peter DeConnick. He's been charged with first-degree murder for allegedly stabbing his friend Ronald Russo to death. Investigators say the friends were partying inside this trailer home when a verbal argument escalated into a violent knife fight. Police found Russo on the floor clutching a knife, while a bloodied DeConnick was arrested at a nearby train station. Now at the podium, the prosecutor shares a grisly detail about the murder.
Further investigation, the autopsy report revealed that Mr. Russo did suffer 69 knife wounds to his body.
The mention of the number of stab wounds appears to enrage the victim's brother, who charges towards the defendant.
Did suffer 69 knife wounds to his body.
It takes 1, 2, 3, 4 deputies to remove Thomas Russo from the courtroom. Russo's arrested following the outburst and is charged with disturbing the courtroom and resisting arrest. He's later released on a personal reconnaissance bond after telling the judge that he needed to make funeral arrangements for his slain brother. As for the defendant, Peter DeConnick, he's later found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. Next, we head to the Whitley County Judicial Center in Williamsburg, Kentucky. This is Richie Dawn. Moments earlier, he was seen angrily throwing trash cans against a wall outside of a courtroom on the second floor of the building. It's unclear what Dawn was so upset about. He wasn't even listed on the court's docket that day, yet he was heard rambling about the courts robbing him. As he makes his way towards the exit, Chief Security Officer Tommy Hurst attempts to arrest Dawn for disorderly conduct. But the trash tosser quickly becomes a trash talker, telling Hurst he's not stopping. But as another security guard positions herself between Dawn and the exit, things get physical. Hurst grapples with Dawn from behind. Dawn then snatches the security wand and smashes Hurst multiple times, splitting his head open. Eventually, Hurst gets the upper hand and takes Dawn down to the ground. Later, he'd need 6 staples to close the gash on his head and still had no idea why Dawn was so enraged.
I didn't know at the time. The only thing that I was getting out of him is that he had got robbed. He had everything took away from him. He wasn't making clear sense to me.
Dawn is arrested and charged with third-degree assault, first-degree disorderly conduct, and a resisting arrest. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for third-degree assault. Next, we take you inside the Champaign County Municipal Courthouse in Urbana, Ohio. There's a group of men sprawled out on the courthouse floor. So how'd they end up there? This is 55-year-old Anthony Hammond. A few minutes earlier, he barged into the courtroom of Judge Gil Weifman, who was in the middle of a case unrelated to Hammond. The disruption was allegedly over a dispute Hammond had with police and the court regarding a property matter. So Judge Weifman first held him in contempt, then asked his bailiff, Carl Bader, and a police officer in the courtroom, Steve Moulton, to remove him, which they did, and which Hammond had a bit of a problem with. There's Hammond in the jacket and fraternal lodge hat. The officer and the bailiff are having trouble restraining the suspect, who removes his jacket. Hammond breaks free when he is flattened by court probation officer Brian Cordial, who's in plain clothes because in this court, probation officers are not required to wear uniforms. Hammond hits the ground hard, and it's a mystery how his hat remains on his head.
You have no authority to touch me. None.
Hammond's arrested and charged with resisting arrest, 2 counts of assault, as well as obstructing official business. He pled not guilty on all counts and was released on his own recognizance. But when he failed to appear at his next court hearing, a warrant was eventually issued for his arrest.
Just give me time for all of it right now. I just need a little time. You're going to help me look better anyway. So.
We're in Broward County, Florida, for the arraignment of 32-year-old Bradley Quimbley on a petty theft charge. 2 days earlier, Quimbley was arrested at a local department store for walking out with a television that wasn't paid for and threatening a store employee who tried to stop him. Today, he's appearing before Judge Jackie Powell.
Mr. Bradley Quimbley on page 11.
Yes, he's here, present, Judge.
So, Mr. Quimbley, you're before the court today for 1 count of petty theft, and the court does find probable cause. Does the parties wish to be heard as to bond?
My name's being Mr. Quimbley. I believe he wishes to resolve this case today.
Yes, I do, miss.
All right, State, do you have an offer for Mr. Quimbley?
State's offer would be 10 days. I would note the TV he stole was 1 penny under the grand theft amount.
Judge, and speaking of Mr. Quimbley, right now he is working. He works for a moving company. He doesn't want to risk losing that job. It costs him a lot to get that job, Judge.
I need it, miss. You know what I mean? I need my job. You know?
Mr. Quimbley, please stop talking and allow your attorney to speak, okay?
I'm going to ask the court to consider releasing Mr. Quimbley on time served.
I would note there's allegations that he threatened to physically harm the employees at work.
It's a simple case, and everyone agrees on a deal for 5 days in jail with 4 days credit for time served.
All right, Mr. Quimbley, please raise your right hand.
That is, until someone checks Quimbley's other court records and informs Judge Powell.
All right, I've just been advised that Mr. Quimbley is on pretrial supervision. So, on what case?
On January 29th, it was 1 count of assault.
Judge Powell discovers that Quimbley's on release pending trial for another incident. 1 month earlier, while at a supermarket, Quimbley took 2 items from store shelves that he immediately then tried to return. The incident also included threats.
I think the court should be aware that that case also involves allegations of fraud at a where he again became irate and began to verbally threaten to cause physical harm to the employees.
These additional charges, along with his history of threats, make Judge Powell rethink Quimbley's plea deal. Perhaps sensing things slipping away, the defendant makes a last-ditch effort to settle both cases today.
Whoa, what is it? Just give me time for all of it right now. Just give me time for all that so I can just go ahead and just settle that. It don't matter if it's 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 60 days. Just let me settle that. All of it, right now. So I don't have to be worrying about this and that.
All right.
I need a little time. You're going to help me look better anyway. So.
All right, well, we're gonna have Mr. Quimbley take a seat a little bit, and I will recall the case.
Yes, Judge. All right, pretty lady.
Quimbley gets away with calling the judge pretty lady, but when she recalls his case later that day, she's not giving him anything to joke about.
I'm revoking his pretrial, so at counts 1, 2, 3, I'll impose a bond of $500, and I'll ROR him on 4. That's on the pretrial supervision, and then on the new charge, the bond is $100. I'll leave that in place.
Judge Powell decides to revoke his pretrial supervision and imposed cash bonds totaling $1,600. Earlier today, Quimbley was flippantly asking for jail time.
Need a little time, you're gonna help me look better anyways.
And now, unless he can come up with the bond money, that's exactly what he's getting. Quimbley's mic has been turned off, but he's clearly fired up. Quimbley lashes out, slamming his hands on the podium, then knocking it over. Because his microphone is switched off, the judge doesn't hear him swearing and threatening to kill her. But the sheriff's deputies wrestling with him hear it all, and Quimbley racks up even more charges, this time felonies, resisting arrest and threatening a public servant. Judge Powell barely registers his outburst and moves on to her next case.
Is the podium up or down?
Because of his courtroom outburst and threats against Judge Powell, Quimbley's bond was raised from $1,600 to $6,000, and he remained in jail until his hearing 8 months later. There, he pled no contest to the felony charges and was given 364 days in jail and credit for time served. Months earlier, Quimbley also pled no contest to the charges related to both store incidents. He was sentenced to 3 months probation and ordered to attend a shoplifters program. He has since completed his sentence. Next, we're in Manatee County, Florida, for the sentencing of Anthony Kidd. The 23-year-old was arrested on a felony animal cruelty charge after his girlfriend reported he had injured her dog, Prince. 8 months earlier, the couple's son had accidentally eaten some dog feces in the backyard, causing Kidd to get angry and allegedly hit the pet. Kidd pleaded no contest and is awaiting his fate from Judge Hunter Carroll. But when the judge sentences him to 364 days in jail, Kidd desperately begs for mercy. He reminds the judge that he has cancer and says he needs to be with his kids. Judge Carroll listens, but ultimately sticks to his decision. Tensions are high, and as deputies approach, Kidd attempts to make a break for it. But doesn't get very far. With little room to run, he climbs on top of a bench as deputies surround him. The officers then tell Judge Carroll to leave the courtroom, as the situation becomes potentially more dangerous. With tasers drawn and pointed at his stomach, Kidd shouts, "Do it! You're gonna have to kill me." But as they continue talking, tensions eventually die down. Deputies then inch closer and make their move. But Kidd manages to evade them once again, though only making it across the courtroom before 8 officers take him to the ground. But he's not done fighting. And it takes almost 4 minutes to finally subdue and carry him out of the courtroom and into custody. Kidd's charged with resisting arrest and sentenced to 11 months and 29 days to be served concurrently with the original sentence of 364 days for animal cruelty. He was also ordered to pay a $2,500 fine, submit to anger management treatment, and have no possession, care, or custody of domestic animals. Next, we're in Williamsburg, Kentucky for a bond revocation hearing. The defendant walking up to the podium is 42-year-old Shannon Fox Hamblin. Today, she's in court for allegedly violating conditions of her probation. Once at the microphone, she lets Judge Paul Winchester know she's being represented by a well-known name, maybe best known for his pro bono work.
And who's representing you today?
I'm represented by Jesus Christ.
That's right. Now, a savior he may be, but one thing he is not is a licensed member of the Kentucky State Bar. So the judge offers up the services of the public defender's office instead.
All right, so I'm going to appoint Mr. Findale
No,
to represent
I don't
you
want
today.
Mr. Findale. I have that right, Your Honor, and Jesus is going to represent through me. I do not want legal counsel.
Okay, all right, so what do you want to say?
I want to say that I have lived hard, loved hard, played hard, but I've been saved and applied the blood. I'm pardoned through Jesus Christ, okay? 'Cause I have stumbled and I have failed many times, and mercy's rained from that bench. Not because I deserved it, but because I'm sure somebody prayed. Okay, I wanted to taste salvation and play over here too. I was riding the fence between me and you. God gave me a choice, and it's life or death, I kid you not. Do I look like the person that stood before you in August? Do I? I'm humble. I'm in a walk of shame.
But alas, Judge Winchester has had enough of the courtroom sermon.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Allegation is you failed to report to probation and parole.
Okay, sir. I have nothing in this world.
All I need is an answer.
No.
Did you go? Okay.
I went to probation, yes, I did. But the next 2 times I didn't have no right.
In addition to not reporting to her probation officer as scheduled, Fox Hamlin has another violation.
On December the 9th, 2016, you were given a drug test and you were positive for methamphetamine, and that was confirmed by a lab.
Saved by the blood.
Okay, yes or no? Do you acknowledge that?
I acknowledge I'm saved by the blood.
Saved by the blood or exposed by the blood test?
I don't use drugs, Your Honor. I do not use it.
You've already told me that. But back on December of 2016,
His paper says so, but I will not admit it. He said I could...
are you denying the allegations in this motion?
Yes.
Fox Hamlin's probation officer is then called on to offer testimony.
Back in December, did she test positive for drug use? She didn't.
He's not telling the whole truth, Your Honor.
Okay.
You expect me to, he needs to too.
All right, let me tell you something now. You can ask him a question.
Okay, have I
Can't
not
preach
been in
to him.
contact? When you called me and said the drug test came back methamphetamine, tell the truth, Shannon. What did I say?
I did not call you.
Brian Diggs, you are a liar in the court of Winsburg. I promise you, Jesus is watching.
Okay, let me tell you something. I have to go by what the test
He
says.
is lying,
And
sir.
The
His
test
his
says.
test wasn't right.
What I'm telling you is, I have to go by what the lab says.
Can I make
Doesn't
one
have anything to
mistake?
do what he said.
Between me and you,
Okay.
prison is to reform me, right? To make me a good person for
Well,
society.
that
Is that
and to
correct?
keep you from breaking the law.
Okay. Well, do you believe that the blood applied by Jesus Christ can do more reform for me than Pee Wee Valley? Do you believe it can happen in 1 day, 1 minute, or 1 hour?
Well-
Sir, I'm sentenced to death. I'm going to die.
But as the defendant continues to argue, the judge asks the bailiff to escort her out and revokes her bond.
Mr. Engel, can you take her for me, please? Motion is sustained.
Sir, I have the right to speak, okay?
And you have the
my
right
life
to
is
speak.
at stake. I'm going to speak, please. No, I'm going to speak to
now.
this judge. No, I'm going to speak to you right now, Your Honor. My life is at stake. I'll die in prison.
Come on, yeah,
I have
come
the
on.
right to. I won't go. You'll shoot me.
As it becomes more apparent that she is not going quietly,
If you stand out and have no, I won't go, sir. No, I won't go.
another court official enters to help remove her.
No, I won't go. You understand? I won't. No. Mr. Winchester, I won't go. No. I won't go. You understand? You'll shoot me before I go. I won't go.
You need to go. You don't
No,
want
I'm
me to do
not.
that to you, okay?
You understand? I won't.
You need to go.
You see truth and you're denying it. No. Mr. Winchester, please. I want my family back. I've changed. No, they need Jesus like he's in a hanging on the house. I want.
As the struggle spills into the hallway, Fox Hamlin continues to resist, reportedly kicking one of the bailiffs and causing an injury to his hand. On top of having her bond revoked, Shannon Fox Hamlin was charged with contempt of court, second-degree assault, resisting arrest, and second-degree disorderly conduct. She was sentenced to 8 years in a Kentucky prison. We take you now to the Warren County Municipal Courthouse in Warren, Ohio, where some routine court business quickly spirals out of control. Kayla Raymond was recently charged with operating her vehicle without a license. Today, she's here for a bond hearing, but admits to the court she's high on drugs. Her bond's revoked and she's ordered to Trumbull County Jail. And that's when the trouble really starts. After the hearing, the bailiffs try to escort Kayla away, but she resists. And things quickly escalate. The 30-year-old puts up a fight. It appears Raymond might actually escape as she sends one of the officers to the floor. But he's quickly back up and the struggle continues. Despite the outrageous scene taking place, spectators notice the scuffle and either continue to go about their business or stand by and watch the scene play out. Keep in mind, Raymond was in court just on a no operator's license charge for not having her license on her while driving. As the officer tries to apply handcuffs, Raymond makes a desperate move. According to the police report, she bit both officers during the struggle. The incident continues before a third officer joins the scene and brings it to an end. Raymond is finally cuffed and carried out of the courthouse. Now Raymond's looking at additional charges of assault and resisting arrest.
Problem is, you don't want to play by anybody's rules. You want to play by your own rules.
Next, we go to Brea, Ohio for a probation hearing. The defendant's 18-year-old William Demopoulos. He's on probation for criminal damaging, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and obstructing official business. Things have not started off well, as Judge Chris Green is annoyed with Demopoulos for refusing to hand over his cell phone to a probation officer.
Give me that phone. What's in that phone you don't want us to find?
Nothing. I just didn't see no need for you guys to confiscate my phone and go through it. I mean...
And you play by your rules. You don't want to play by anybody else's rules.
When the judge hands the phone to a clerk, the defendant starts to retreat.
Come here. Hey. Come here.
No, man. No, man, this is not right, man. I'm telling you, this is not right. This system is so messed up.
Stand there. If you're going to act up, give me an officer. Give me an officer.
Please, please.
No. I'm right now thinking about charging you with resistance.
Please, it doesn't have to be like this, John.
Stand there and stand like a man.
I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Then you're going to go to jail today.
Sounds like this teen is willing to give up his freedom for a phone.
What did we talk about with regard to following the rules?
To follow them.
And they told you to give him the phone?
I don't know why.
The judge breaks it down for Demopoulos.
When you are on probation, your probation officer has a right to take anything they want to take of yours. If they want to search your phone, they search your phone. The problem is, you don't want to play by anybody's rules. You want to play by your own rules.
It's not like that, Your Honor.
Getting nowhere, the defendant changes his story.
It's not my cell phone.
Whose cell phone is it?
It's my brother's.
Then why didn't you tell them that? I need him handcuffed, please.
Even with deputies closing in, Demopoulos doesn't seem interested in cooperating. As quickly as Demopoulos hops over the table, the deputies tackle him to the floor.
You're gonna get tased. Stop resistance.
Where you on this going, man? Don't think I'm so up, man, for real. Please stop, man.
That's the defendant's grandfather looking on.
Why don't you have to happen, man? But why though, man? Why does it have to be like this, man? Really?
It's like this because you make it like this. My problem is I can't have someone on probation if they won't listen to their probation officer.
He has a problem. I know there's a problem.
Man, he's kind of like a little cat, though,
Yeah, he jumped.
He's very athletic.
Yeah.
The judge revokes the defendant's probation, and he's charged with resisting arrest. He's sent to jail for 40 days.